Nick says, is there a way to donate outside of YouTube streams, or is this coffee fund the only means? Yeah, I don't have just like a donate link out. The Patreon is a way to donate, but you probably mean you want to donate like visibly on stream, right?
So I have been playing a little bit outside of streaming. Just a little bit.
You can also do
I have
on
the
YouTube
crab
now.
helmet
You can
now.
also donate money with comments, not just super chats as well.
What was I going to do here? Let's go. Let's go to the Howler Maze. Oh yeah, I bought that. I bought an old world
Multi
bow.
Revelator says, so curious as to how much that bat actually looks like a human, but it's a freaking bat. Yeah, this was the first reference that I collected for them, specifically for that reason. It stood out to me when I was doing my search because it had such a keen, almost hominid nature to the arrangement of the face. It made the bat feel very relatable and intelligent. It was the first reference that I grabbed.
Let's go put the bow in here.
Definitely
My slum
the
house.
touchstone there. Joe says Steve only accepts Cash App for his feet and nipple pics. Don't trust that man. He's a liar. So if you don't want his feet pics, don't find his Cash App.
Freaking forest. I've been up here before.
My entry on FootWiki is expansive. Is it FootWiki or FeetWiki? Steven, what would you do if you hate your art? People ask that question all the time. It feels like there's this current in art where people are just like, any day now he's gonna hate art. He's an artist. Any day now he's gonna give up. All artists secretly hate art. They're just waiting for the day where they're gonna hate it. It's like, I don't know.
Sick.
It's just like completely counterfactual to everything about my life and what would sort of make me hate art. You know, you also said specifically hate your art. It's like I at this point I don't know who I would need to be or what would need to happen to my brain for me to hate my art. That's just like I mean, I have a whole YouTube channel where I try to explain why it's stupid to hate your art. It's just stupid. It's dumb. It's nonsense. It's irrational. And I know a lot of you hate your art. Watch the first 40 videos on this YouTube channel.
There's this crease here that I need to get rid of.
Yeah, I don't know what would need to happen to me for me to hate my art.
Annoying.
There's days where I'll storm around my studio being like, I fucking hate art. I hate art. God damn it. But it's never serious, you know? It's just I'm tired that day. That's all it is. That feeling never lasts more than a few days. And then I'm right back to it. Like, oh, art, wow. And it's never about the art. It's that there's something else I need to do that I'm putting off. Some event I have to do, or some deadline I have to hit, or some email I need to respond to, or something like that. It's never about the art. I wonder if maybe I go for the sort of intelligent, almost simian look of this bat, but I skip the weird nose because It's like if I cover up the nose, it's like the bat is already weird. The bat isn't weird just because of the tube nose. The bat is weird. Everything about him is weird. The overall proportion, the texture, the way the eyes are, the mouth, it's all weird. So maybe by trying to do his whole face and the nose, that's kind of putting a hat on a hat for this design. And I should consider making the nose maybe a more typical bat nose. It just looks so alien right now, you know? A more typical bat nose or something. Lift a nose from a different bat and use that and keep everything else the same. Something to consider. Cake Sandwich says, Steven, I don't know if anyone has told you this, but I think you're a pretty cool artist. Oh, thank you, Cake Sandwich. Wow. Wow. Thank you. You know what? No one has ever told me that.
Zapata is a cool
You're
artist.
actually the first. It feels good. I feel like I made it. Finally, someone thinks I'm cool.
Chocho. Chocho, it's time for bed. Go to sleep, Chocho.
Max says, I don't hate art, I hate artists. Yeah, that's a very common sentiment. People really do not like artists in our world. And definitely other artists are not excluded from that hatred. We are God's lowest creatures in the eyes of society. That's why you need to take solace with other artists. They're the only ones who understand you. I thought you were cool until you showed those Italy pictures of you wearing a fanny pack. Bro. We'd see what you'd think when you looked through the sketchbook that was in that fanny pack, dog. You wouldn't be talking shit if you saw the sketchbook in that fanny pack, dog. You'd be groveling, dog.
I'm giving Chocho some attention right now. He needs attention. I'm very attention hungry.
My wife wears the fanny pack now. My wife wears the fanny pack in this relationship. She stole it from me.
There you go.
I was like, shit, that's my fanny pack. Mine now. Too convenient. Too useful. I like it too much. Too stylish. I'm serious. I don't have a fanny pack now because she always wears it now. It's just a very weird creature. This is always the tough thing when you try to design off of real world stuff that is crazy and not the typical stuff that people reference. It's like the pictures are already weird. The real animal on its own is already something to write a BuzzFeed article about. So your drawing and your design of it is always going to just look uncanny and strange and unrelatable and like unbelievable. Even if you're working in an unbelievable milieu, it's just going to look like that for much longer. It looks like a damn gray right now, which I don't like that. No grays, please. Grays, go
Are we there?
away.
No.
Don't come
Okay,
back
it's
another
loading.
day.
Loading screen. I wonder if I should go back into Morrowind. The issue is Morrowind isn't an AFK game, so it's hard to focus on art while playing Morrowind.
No. It's too goofy, I can't.
It would be nice to get through Tamriel rebuilt. That'd be fun to do.
Alright, I tried to resist it, but let's pop this little, just a little bit, pop that tube nose. Alright, boys and girls, let's just pop that tube nose right off the silhouette a little bit. There we go. That's all you gotta do. If you want to draw a horrifying Batman, sometimes you just need to pop the very tip of that silhouette, of that tube nose, just right off the contour. Just pop it right off, be confident about it. Everything's gonna be okay, it's just a drawing. There you go. Now you've got yourself a nice, otherworldly Batamans. Who knows what this Batanoid is up to? Who knows what he loves, and more importantly, what he hates? He might be capable of anything, we don't know. The mouth. The mouth is so upsetting. Very subtle on alien stuff like this. It's like, do we bring it all the way up here? And just have him be like this? All the time? Forever? I have to pop the cheek out a little bit on the other side. Or do we drag it down? Very sad boy. Wow. The things they put him through. It's just not fair to him. So sad. So sad. What a hard life for him. What inspired the bat motif today, or is it normal to draw very uncomfortable looking bat monsters? It is normal. It is normal. Zdex says, but back to the basics. Hey Steven, how do I draw a phone when I'm a baby? Wow.
Oh, I'm there.
What?
Let's look around for cannibals, I guess. I believe there's like... What the fuck? I believe there's cannibals around here somewhere. Karcha, it's okay. It's just Steven Zapata.
You know what's weird? There's something very freeing about acting that way, actually. There's something very primal about it. It just feels right.
Ah, here we go. Here's some shrieking bandits. I'm interested in like, is their armor any good?
Just the subtlety of the little turn. It looks a little bit like the Pepe meme. A little bit like a Pepe
Wait,
meme.
you can actually be friends with these guys. No way. Oh. My game just froze and then crashed. Nice. Very nice. I didn't save it. Man, maybe I should play Morrowind.
I don't even really have it on here.
We'll go play a bit of
But
Morrowind.
at some point, I should probably just do a vampire bat version to sort of just see what the full typical audience expectations answer would look like. Because these are three unusual ones. For this one, I did tube nose bat and mix it with the hammerhead bat, kind of a horse-like silhouette, wrinkle face bat, and then full tube nose bat.
What player though? Necromancer?
I specifically avoided just going vampire.
What was the
bat,
Pilgrim
just the
all about?
usual silhouette and
Oh yeah,
silhouette.
I was doing like
Not
a
bats.
hardcore playthrough. Let's
I
not
was
do that.
doing bats.
That's a bit too
I
crazy.
purposely avoided doing typical vampire bat or even having it on the reference board, which is what most people think of when they think of a bat. But at some point, it might be worth it to just test it, see if the full typical audience expectations can be made into
what was I even
something
doing?
that feels intelligent and relatable.
I don't know what I was doing. Yeah, I don't remember what I was doing. I could just go explore. And the issue is, Morrowind is not an AFK game. I need my AFK game. Keep playing Kenshi. Hopefully it doesn't crash so much. Okay, this is the autosave. Basically there. So that's good, I guess. At the same time, man, look at this tree. This tree is so jank. Single-sided polygons and double-sided. So jank. So much jank. What's this? Should I just fight these guys? I think I should just fight these guys.
Thomas Sage says, Steven, Chroma, you, corpse, yes, no, involvement? No, I'm not involved. I am not involved with Chroma Core this year. I did it a few years back, but the Sweet Sweet Cynics does different guest judges every year. The value breakup over this guy. Valdeek says, I subbed after listening to your insightful video on AI art. I am glad that the streams are also similarly enlightening. Thank you for the sub. Glad you liked the AI video. Let me respond to this text right quick. Give me a second. Just gotta check something. What was I doing? Hey Steven, have you found a good response to shut people up when they say the forbidden can you draw me? I think people who have seen my... No one ever asked me to draw them. I think it's probably because they've seen my art and they're like, pass. I think most people can tell that I'm pretty into scarier, weirder stuff. So, I don't know. I don't get that request ever, really. If you do a lot of drawing people and things like that, I don't know. I maybe just try to develop a sensitive way to explain that you don't draw people you know. You know? Can sort of lead to an interesting conversation about like how you prefer to draw either people you don't know or professional models that you don't have a stake in, you don't personally know, because that way you can just focus on your artistic expression and what you're trying to do with the picture rather than focus on the likeness. They could be like, I don't understand. You could be like, well, if I'm drawing a friend, then I don't really get to practice these other aspects of my art. It's almost inevitable that I have to focus on does it look like them, or else the drawing's sort of a failure, and that's just not really why I'm drawing portraits or people and things like that. And they could be like, wow, I didn't even know that you could sort of pick something else to focus on in a portrait other than likeness. You could be like, yeah, I'm, you know, actually more focused on structure or developing an interesting map of colors and things like that, and those things don't really have anything to do with likeness. I would try to take some tack like that. You know, you can pull them into your world a little bit and just explain why that's not really your thing. I do kind of like this little guy when you see it with the value breakup, the light snout. It really is a possibility. It could go that way. I'm gonna make the ears bigger. I just don't... The tiny ears are really fighting the bat thing. It's just design conditioning, just the audience here being me, right? You know, I'm a member of the audience. I'm someone looking at the work, so just my brain is just like, if you want me to believe it's a bat, we gotta get some big ears in here, brother. Not that much bigger, but it helps a bit. Yeah, kind of interesting. Yeah, we got some heads and a body type there. Yankee says, Steven, I know you're not a comics guy, but do you have any advice on what to plan, draw ahead of actually drawing a comic? Take this with a grain of salt because I'm not a comics guy, but focus on the story, not the world building. I think that for a lot of people, getting obsessed with world building, unless you've like, you know you're going to have to follow through with the project, so the deadline's going to push you to it, or you know, maybe you're working on a team, so you can sort of break it out between different people. But if you're doing it solo, you can invest all of this time in world building, which is like almost like a buzzwordy thing in the art world these days. Like it has become its own modality and way of thinking and all of this, influenced by Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. And you can world build so much that you basically put yourself in an infinite briar of thorns, where everywhere where you would want to go with the story, you butt up against some random world building decision that you made years ago or months ago. And I find that students who have been sitting on a pet project for months and months and months, or years, right? A lot of people have a pet project comic they've been wanting to make for years, since they were 8 or whatever, right? All they have is notes, right? World building, essentially. That doesn't, it's not notes about the story, it's notes about the world, and almost universally, those never become anything. They never get made.
It's like a duck.
So, yeah, the advice I would give to people who want to make something that is actually story-driven,
Oh, it's a beak
or something
thing.
like that, is
The Beak Thing Club.
resist the world-buildy urge that is out there in our current zeitgeist a lot, right? Resist that a bit, not completely, you know, but pull back on that a bit. Don't dump all your time into world building, strictly construed, you know, obsessing about currencies and drawing maps and all this stuff. What's the story? Do the story. Who are the characters? What happens to them? Why should we care what the story is? You know, what makes it interesting? What is the conflict? What breaks their heart? How do they act? How do they interact with other people? Do the story. Because that's all anybody's
Well,
doing. No one's going to sit there
is.
and read a world building book. No one does that.
It's interesting.
You know, except, you know, DMs who are dungeon mastering something, reading a D&D scenario rulebook. But besides that, no one sits there and reads random world building, alternate histories, or just the histories of places that they have no reason to care about. They need the story.
Howler Helmet. 29, 46, 82. Definitely not as good. But yeah, it's straight up not good. Melee attack bonus -2. Beaked Cleaver. well preserved. Howler chess piece.
If I bake this to transparency, can I? I think I could do that. Oops, not that. I wanted to do this. Yeah, it kind of works. Could take it off the black later if I wanted to. All right, let's look for another body silhouette now that we've explored some heads. Many questions, many questions. Got an old man idea over there. Well, maybe we could poke at this a little bit. No. What do I want? What do I want? Yeah, let's redraw this pose a little bit because it's a little front on.
Some really good coverage.
I do want to poke at this a bit.
Actually, might be better than mine.
A more direct version of the wrinkle face. The wrinkle face. Let's cut that out. Let's paste it there. Let's make it bigger. Let's put it down so that he's more hunched.
You can find a high grade light body
you
wrap.
don't want your world building to become mental masturbation. Once you have enough to tell a story, write the damn story. Yeah. The exception to this rule is Tolkien, who finally published his bullshit after it sat at his desk in his desk at
Wait, what is this helmet?
10 years. That's the thing. It's like
a helmet here.
Some people,
no,
it'll work for them.
The
they'll push through. It's just that most people won't.
Breaching van
those people
braces.
are always going to be the exceptions.
Interesting.
Joe also says, it's okay if you plan to publish a campaign setting, but that's also not a story. Yeah, exactly. It's like world building works within that narrow alley. Because if you're trying to sell a campaign, make a campaign that others are going to play, the story is supposed to be very open-ended so that the DM can put their story into it, modify it. The players can find story within it, things like that. But outside of those very narrow alleys, story is king. And story is like a plot, some acts, themes, characters that are compelling and interesting. Usually a main character, though you can do ensemble. But there's got to be some real meat to sink into. No one thinks the denominations of coins that you came up with are that interesting, separated from an interesting character. No one cares about just the coins. Tree Watcher says, I love world building. Is there any way to create a project which is presentable but only focuses on the world rather than a major story? Again, only in narrow alleys. So like, if you want to be a concept artist for like what I'm doing here, a concept artist can present a whole portfolio of just designs that hit world building beats to an art director, and you can get a job off of that. But no audience, no broad audience is going to just look at this. You get what I'm saying? They would maybe they would care about this character if it then went into a comic or a short film or an animation or something like that. And we could hear the character talk and have viewpoints and all this. But just my design sheet here, only other artists are going to care about that. So it could be presentable to other artists, to art directors and stuff like that, but that's a very limited audience. Most people, I have a lot of caveats here, because it's like, I am personally interested in just having other artists as an audience. I'm fine with that. I'm interested in artists. They're my people. They're who I focus on. I'm an art teacher. But that's me personally. That's not what most people want. Most artists, most people who are trying to build their skills up, aren't interested in being an artist. They are interested in making something that regular people will care about, non-art people will care about, something relatable enough, quickly graspable enough that the public will just be able to enjoy it. And that's usually a story. And if that is your goal, no one's ever going to care. It doesn't matter how beautifully you do a design sheet like this. People don't even know what the hell this is, right? If you're in the art world and you've seen design sheets before, what I'm doing here just makes sense. But you have no idea how much conditioning is actually already there for you to grasp what the point of this design sheet is. If I show this to my mother or to my cousins or to people who are not deeply entrenched in the art world, and I've done this before, they're like, what am I looking at? Is it done? Like they're like, is it done? Are you gonna add a background? Like, is the end goal of this character standing perfectly still and flat in like a forest? Is that what this is going to become? They have no idea what a design sheet is, or that it's supposed to become something else. They don't understand art has a fucking process. People who haven't learned about art don't know art has a process. They just think art materializes, done, finished, right? They think Berserk, for example, was just drawn frame by frame, done. They if they had to think about it, they might scrutinize that and realize that that couldn't possibly be true. But until they've been asked to scrutinize it, that is the base assumption that most people just sort of operate from. And that's normal, that people do that with everything. So all of that to say, no, stuff like this is not, normal people will not connect with it, will not work for them. It will work in narrow alleys. If you want it to connect with the public at large, it has to be a story. It has to be a story. It has to be just something that they are familiar with, a narrative, beginning to end, a book you can put in their hand, a movie that they know they're going to watch for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours, a TV show. It's got to be that. It's got to be something like that. What about illustrations and fine art, says Mecha Bouncy Bunny. Yeah, well, that's different than what I'm showing here, right? Like, people don't understand design sheets or non-art people don't understand design sheets. But yes, people are more inclined to understand an illustration or fine art. But even within that realm, most people, you put them in front of a piece of fine art and they still don't know what it is. It's very common for people to be confused about what a fine art piece is going for, or what it is, or what it means, or, I mean, God, have you ever, how often do you show like a painting or a drawing, either online or in person, and the first thing someone says to you is, did you draw this? Like, people have no idea. People have no idea what's going on. They just don't think about this stuff. I have been at events, I'm telling you, man, I have been at events where I'm in the room with people and I'm doing the drawing. I am pressing my pen against the paper in front of them. They are watching me put ink on the drawing. And the first thing they ask me is, did you draw this? People have no idea what the hell art is if they've never thought about it before. So yeah, again, it needs to be a story. If you want it to connect with the public, it needs to be a story. And by the way, the people who did that to me were smart people. Very smart people. So yeah, it's one thing if you want to present things to other artists. It's another thing completely if you want to have something that other people will connect, that non-artists will connect to. And all of that, I know I was on a tear there, but all of that goes back to work on the story. Don't focus so much on the world building. Work on the story. just making this pose a little less flat. You know, he was sort of splayed out like he'd been, in a 2D sense, he was splayed out like he had sort of been swatted with a fly swatter. So I'm just rearranging the limbs so that some come towards us in space, some go back in space. We're not looking at him front on, we're sort of seeing him from 3/4. Just a little bit more interest to the draw. He can be old, but he can still have big pecs, because he's got this background. Actually, I mean, I figured on these characters, these guys can actually fly. They're vestigial wings at this point, so it wouldn't really need big pecs, but maybe it's still there, just genetically. LVN says, don't focus so much on the drawing as well, actually. Yeah, I would agree with that as a generalization. Yeah. I mean, at a certain point for artists, it's just like, you want to draw beautifully because you love drawing beautifully, right? But there's only so much virtuosity the public needs to connect with something.
I want to see what he has. Standard grade. This is dark colored though. It's nice. Has stealth effect. Ooh. Doesn't matter much, but Screeching Skull. This looks really cool. What is it? 17. Definitely not as good as mine. But it looks cool. Attack damage effect. Wow, 1.15. How often do you get attack bonus effect?
Maybe it would be nice to get the bats.
These
have
are
a
high grade as
proportional
well.
thing where their upper arm is.
I should keep these
much
for like a
shorter
martial
than
arts
their
build.
forearm on their wing.
Combat
Maybe there's a way
speed
to
effect,
make that,
dexterity effect,
this
dodge
guy.
skill effect. Stealth 0.3. Oh.
But he might put the one behind his back.
Goes
Maybe
up,
that's something
just in
built in
case.
a different design.
What's
And
this?
that's not
Split
really that
blade, pole
far
arm.
off from what I do in my drawings usually anyway. I always like that proportion, so I guess I'm not really going for anything too interesting there.
I look like a dinosaur now.
Gabriel says, why are you using a gray background? Does it help you in some way? Two things. One, if I'm going to draw for a long time on my computer, it's much easier on the eyes than drawing on a pure white background. And generally for design stuff, the way that I like to do it, I work the silhouette first. Like you can see this first guy, he's basically filled in with dark gray everywhere, right? So I like to work the silhouette first. I like to work the silhouette first, and then I like to put some lighting on it. So the dark gray background makes it easy for me to add lighting. Because when you work on white, and then you want to add lighting with values and stuff like that, the white doesn't pop. So if you do rim lights and stuff like that, it just blends in with the background. Here, and I tend to lighten as I paint, it's easy, right? I can add the rim light in a couple seconds to the design, and then that establishes the value range.
Leveling
and,
up
opens
toughness.
up the whole value range, and it makes it much easier for me to paint mid-tones.
60% damage
into the whole
resistance would be nice.
So it's really just about how I tend to work up a design. I move to painting in values pretty fast, and I prefer to do that over dark backgrounds. I can't deny, though, that for me, a big part of it is...
Actually, this helmet, it looks a
it
bit
being
silly.
easier
I
on the
kind of
eyes
like
for
the
long
crab helmet
periods of
better.
drawing. It's just a habit that I built because,
Not just
you know,
for
a stream
defense,
where
but
I'll draw
also for
2 or 3
looks.
hours, not really that big of a deal. But it's a habit I built from working where that's more like 8-hour, 10-hour days. And over that long, day after day after day, the difference between a white background and a gray background is pretty significant on your eyes. Mizubi says, "Hiya, oh my, love being back in my home city. So quiet, so calm, so nice temperature and atmosphere. Excellent for perspective study. Nice. Very nice."
I want to see if this is high grade. She's wearing. Standard grade. Ooh, these are better. Let's toss this out. What is this? This helmet here. Wise Babbler. Hmm. Anything else? Hmm. High grade. Howlers. Melee is kind of bad. It's not very good.
finger overlapped the far leg way more. Hands here, hands here, hands here. Put hand here. Our little triangle of support on the ground works out. It's good. Let's look at this wrinkle-faced bat again. Try to understand his horrifying shots.
Any more loot for me? No high-grade armor. Kind of hard to sort out from the corpses. Maybe we should move to another place.
Do. Drawing sure is fun.
Let's go
Here we fucking go.
over here.
Sure do love to draw.
Let's follow the road
Draw in
north.
every day, and draw in every way. Thank you. Yes, I love to draw. Yes, I love to draw. Thank you, Cincinnati. You're
Bone
so
cat.
kind.
Jesus. Didn't think that was a thing. Looks dangerous. Looks like the UV map is well, not the UV. It looks like the normals are inverted here. Like some modder forgot to flip.
Something
normals.
feels right about the old bat. Just the bat motif, I don't know, for me works really well for a old codger.
Look at the damage they do though.
Back
Good
in
thing I have
my
armor
day,
and
you had to
toughness.
fly everywhere.
It's like 2-shot newbie.
You
One
modern
shot, maybe.
bats with your bipedal locomotion. You don't know how good you have it.
High grade
Yes, we
screeching
had to
skull.
beat our chests and flap our
What does this
wings.
do?
And where you go?
26,
Come
45,
back here. I'm not done with my
65.
story.
Not as good.
Ungrateful little. I half raised that boy. He doesn't even pay me any. What was I talking about? Oh my. How did I?
Did
where-
these
where
3
am I?
cats wipe them all out
Again.
single-handedly? No
Oh,
way. I think I've been
it's
here.
happening again. Well, I guess I'd better echolocate my way out of here. Click,
Definitely been here.
click,
There's no way 3 cats
click.
could have killed like an entire army of them. I was definitely here. What is that? What the heck is that? Moaning plate skirt. Wafer blade. Holy cow. Absurdly long, thin blade. What is this, katana? Damn. Blood loss 2 times. Cutting damage 1.6. That's really good. Even for standard grade, I guess. I think I've picked up one of these before.
Reminds me of the singing bat guy in Elden Ring. That's a cool reference. I should go grab a screenshot of that. Put it on the board later.
We could train. Let's train with this sword for a
He
bit.
kind of has an old man chin already, the actual thing. It's like protrudes.
It's so goddamn long.
Protrudes like an aged chin.
Holy cow.
Oh, my aged chin.
We're gonna find a high grade wafer blade. That'd be pretty cool. It's like the washing pole from Dark Souls. Doesn't do a lot of damage though. This does way more damage.
I like him. I like him a lot. I like it a lot. Hi, Emma.
Did I get knocked out? I think I did. Nope. I beat them all.
Those
High grade?
ones are clean enough that I'm not.
High grade. Here we go.
that.
Nice. Even though it's light colored. Still high grade. 12,950. Yeah. Covers
Let me
everything.
just quickly mask him out.
Reduces skill effect. That's the only downside. If I can find a black version,
See what's going on with
that'd
my
be
wife
good.
here.
I don't see a black version here. Such a crazy looking mace. Well preserved. Interesting.
Fabricio says, damn, I arrived late, but hello, Steven. Hello, Fabricio. I've been watching your streams always while I draw. I'm pretty grateful to be making a living out of art. You inspire me a lot. That's awesome. I'm very glad that you are making your living off of art. It's a beautiful thing. Congratulations. And I'm happy to provide any company that I can. Let's make the ears a little bigger. Whoops. What did I do here? That's right. That's right. That's right. I made another layer. That is right. I made another layer. And the darkness never ends. You could use this pose again and do a non-old man version.
Oh
He's
shit, am I
kinda
fighting bone cats?
stooped and does a
Fighting
really
with a
fat
bone
walk
cat.
down on its knuckles like this. The wings going back. You could do that just as a type. Just would be harder to make it believable that a civilization like that could or would sort of make things with those wingy hands. was I doing? Right, mask goodness. Do you have particular tips for writing, or is it much the same as maintaining momentum with drawing? I'm not the best writer. I like writing a lot, but I just don't. I don't have a lot of like professional experience with it. I don't have a lot of experience with like, putting it through the ringer, getting it edited, sort of implementing it into a final product, things like that. So I'm probably not the best person to ask for that. I would just say, look for good advice, I guess. What's helped me? There's a classic screenwriting book called Save the Cat, which, if you've never looked into story structure before, I think it's the best, fast, accessible introduction to story structure. It's not it's specifically a screenwriting book, but it applies to just about everything. Just be aware that it's not, story writing isn't actually that formulaic, right? That's just a convenient, fast book for getting some basic ideas that apply to most stories into your head. But that's not the whole answer. There's much more to it than that. And plenty of great stories don't fit that formula. But I think Save the Cat is one of the best books for people who are getting interested in writing. I've read a bunch of writing advice books, and there's better ones, right? There's Story by Robert McKee. There's Into the Woods by John Truby. Stephen King has a great book about writing, but all of those are less accessible. They're much longer, for one thing. And they also might have a more philosophical bend when what you're looking for is really practical advice. I've liked all of the ones that I mentioned, but nothing beats Save the Cat for download of practical information, and you can read it cover to cover in literally an afternoon. It's great. When I taught dramatic narrative at Art Center, Save the Cat was my required reading. That was the textbook for the class. And in turn, when I took dramatic narrative, when I was a student, Save the Cat was also the required reading there. It was my required reading, and I had read a bunch of stuff in the intervening years between taking the class and teaching it. But still, after all the stuff I'd read, I was like, nothing quite beats Save the Cat for a quick download. There's also a sequel to Save the Cat called Save the Cat Writes a Novel, but I haven't read that one, so I can't comment on it. I'm talking about the original about how to write a movie script. Mo Blomskog said, by Blake Snyder. And yeah, the novel one might be good, but I just haven't read it. I guess I'm sure there's new info in there, but I assume it's mostly just mapping the story beats to a longer structure, maybe doing a 5-act instead of a 3-act. Hello, Stephen. Wanted to hear your opinions on using glaze for traditional and digital works. Are you currently using it? I have glazed work, yes, and I think you should probably use it. I think it's a good idea to use it. I did a round where I glazed a bunch of stuff. Where'd that folder go? Where did I put that stuff? Where the hell did I put that? I'm very bad with keeping my stuff organized.
Oh, I got knocked out. What is that? Oh. Nothing.
Okay, I don't remember where I think I had one. I think this on my desk had it in. Yeah, this is a glazed version of Amongst the Trees. I went through and I put a bunch of drawings into it, a bunch of digital stuff. And then I was about to take all of my stuff off of ArtStation and replace it with glazed versions. And right before I did it, I heard through channels that Glaze was about to get an update that made it much better for stuff that specifically I was getting some artifacting on, like flat areas, because I have a lot of drawings that don't have a background, so it's just a lot of white space around the figure, and glazed artifacts would show up in there, but in the newer version they reduced that. So I heard they were going to do that, so I was like, oh shit, I should just wait for that. So I wound up getting distracted while I waited for that. But yeah, now that new version is out, and I do intend to go download it and reglaze the stuff that I glazed. And then, yeah, for me personally, yes, I do plan on taking stuff down off places like ArtStation and things like that and replacing it with glazed versions. Does Discord scrape for images people post on it too? I don't think so. As far as I know, no.
Ooh, is this a high grade washing pole? Let's check. No, it's
I think
not.
it would be a little off-brand for Discord to make a generative image tool, but in the world we live in, who knows? Do you think everyone should glaze their work? Mine is still rather amateurish, and I don't know if I should bother. It depends how much of a zealot you are. You know, I'm a zealot. You know, I love me some art. I think what the text-to-image models is doing in their current way is very anti-art and dangerous for the vitality of art. So I think, yeah, everyone should glaze their work. Or from that viewpoint, I would say everybody should, not because it's likely that, like, it doesn't matter that it's amateur, or like what are the odds someone would want to steal this from me. It's like if you reach a critical mass of enough people glazing their work, it could really change the negotiations around opt-in and people not scraping indiscriminately. And there may be, but it's not the end-all be-all, because there may be broader ways to poison the data sets, because there could be techniques for really reducing what's needed for critical mass. There are data poisoning methods that could potentially mean that, you know, one picture in thousands could have a significant effect on the quality of the models. And yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Can they scrape personal websites as well? Yes. They think they can do whatever the hell they want. And they think the whole internet is up for grabs. So, yeah. Hello, I'm an 18-year-old illustrator and want to do commissions to earn some money. Any tips on how to start or if I should even do it at all? You should definitely start. And I would say for starting out commissions, try to go straight to the community that you want to do commissions for, or the genre you want to do commissions for, rather than just sort of putting work out there and hoping people will message you. You know, that could happen. Some people are really good early on and you can kind of get that going, but I think it's a better idea for most people. Like, let's say you want to do fantasy art, roughly like Dungeons and Dragons, and that's the realm you want to get commissions in. Don't just post on your Instagram or whatever and hope enough people see you or something like that. Go to D&D subreddits or D&D forums and post saying, "Hi, I'm me. I want to do commissions for your D&D story. Here's what I charge. Hit me up." That usually is much more successful for people early on than just sort of shooting stuff out into the ether and hoping somebody latches on. Steven, that bat is beautiful. Thank you, Jim. Which bat? The old man bat or the younger bat? A lot of bats going on right now. I can't believe I said it. I did not expect to draw an old man bat when I started this stream, but here we are.
Excuse me.
Steven Zapata didn't watch vids because I thought you might talk about AI and I can't handle it. Look, man, you gotta learn how to handle it. No, I get it. Look, you gotta defend your mental health, alright? If you really can't handle it, you gotta protect yourself. To which I must say, well, you know, when you feel better, I'll be here for you. I will be here for you. But yeah, don't, feel free to just cut me out of your life until AI is fixed. Don't you worry about it. You know, I can, me personally, I can't bury my head in the sand on this stuff, and I am pretty involved in pushing back against it, so. Old bat has got the cane pimp sword from Bloodborne. Nice. Hi Steven, do you ever erase files that you know you will never go back to or do anything else with, or do you not have those? Generally my drives are big enough that PSDs, like sketching PSD stuff that you haven't taken super far, they're actually not that big. You know, they're just a few megabytes usually, so I don't really delete them, I just keep them. They're all sort of stored, like, I just dump them all in one place. Like, here's my sketchbook 2023 folder. Right? So there's a bunch of stuff here that's not going to go anywhere else, but that's a bunch of files, right? But then there's just my sketchbook file. And that's got a lot of PSDs and JPEGs in it. That's just a lot of files.
Wow, it's another high grade, but it's not dark.
Shoot. Files.
Reserved.
And the stuff in the sketchbook files is all the unsorted stuff. So I have my, where'd they go? Got my project files, which is, these all are separate projects separated out. They've all got PSDs in there. I just let them pile up in there. What the heck do bat feet look like? Here we go. Now I gotta learn this. Bat feet. Oh God. Oh, they're so very weird. Oh my God. My poor pup must be very hungry. I said she must be very hungry, but she's definitely not because she's out cold right now under my desk and she just started dreaming. Like right on cue, she started snurfling at some dream enemy. This has not been very useful. Oh, that's cool. Just gonna drop that there. Weird. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. I don't know how specific I will. Oh, look at that. So cool. texture. Oh, look at the little pad pushing out on the side. God, that's awesome. I love that. It's a really cool thing. It's a really cool thing, and that's what you've all got to learn. You ignorant fools. You've got to learn how freaking cool that is. Hey, Steven, do you draw with a display tablet? I do right now, yes. Not always. For most of my life, I have not. I actually find non-display tablets more comfortable. They're more ergonomic. You can sort of sit straight up. Once you get used to them, the hand-eye coordination thing doesn't become as big of a problem once you get used to them. I got this one recently, just a year ago, because I needed to do a lot more handwriting, and that in particular is very annoying to do on a screenless tablet. So that finally pushed me to get one. But if your only concerns are drawing, I think you can draw just as well with a screenless tablet once you've got enough practice. Whatever the difference is, you can make it up with being able to transform things and stuff like that digitally. And I actually think for painting, the screened tablet is worse. It's better for drawing for a lot of people, but I think for most people, it's better to paint with a screenless tablet. It's easier to see the whole picture. You know, you're not blocking it. Makes it easier to do like big strokes with just little
Still knocked out
movements of your fingers, whereas it feels weird to if I want to do big changes with little strokes on the screen tablet, I have to zoom out this far, right? And then it does it. But the magic of using a screenless tablet is that it's usually smaller than your screen, so you can do big changes to the painting, big gestural strokes by just going whoop, whoop. And once you get used to that, that's actually really cool and kind of addictive, and you can't really get it any other way. I want to buy this bat geezer a coffee and hear about the old days. Me too. Me too. Actually, let's do... Trying to make sure this reads a little bit. Good night, Saman. Hey, Steven, is there a name for that species of bat? That's the wrinkle face bat. At least that's the name I found for it. It's part of a group called the leaf-nosed bats, I believe. If you want more like it, you might want to Google the leaf-nosed bats. Leaf-nosed bat? Leaf-nosed bat. Leaf-nosed bat, leaf-nosed bat, you're so pretty. Oh God, actually, you're not. Do I need to learn Photoshop, or are other drawing programs also okay? They are also okay. If you want to work, on a collaborative team with other artists, so if you want to work at like a studio, where you guys would be, where you expect you would be sharing files a lot, you know, if you want to be like a staff concept artist on a video game or something like that, you probably will need to learn Photoshop in that context. Because Photoshop is still the industry standard. So if you want to be able to just open some other artist's file the way that it's exactly the way that they have it, Photoshop is really the only way to do that right now. Clip, Krita, Procreate, they can all open Photoshop files, but not completely. You have to like mess with them to get them to open. You know, they can't do certain kinds of layer groups, they can't do certain blending modes, they can't do layer styles. So when that happens on a team, it eventually goes to the lowest common denominator and everybody just winds up using Photoshop. But if you just want to be an artist on your own, if you just want to do your own thing, then you definitely do not need Photoshop. You can do all sorts of programs to draw and paint. Goodbye, lack. Franzora says, time to continue working on my creatures. Good, good. Oh, how did I miss that? Time flies when you're having fun, I'll tell you what. All right, we're going to keep going for a bit longer. We're at 3 hours here. So I'll go for another 5 minutes, something like that. Say goodbye to everybody. And then I'm going to go get dinner started. Do a little bit of cooking. And then we'll be back at this sometime soon. So if you have any questions, wrap up, feel free to throw them in the chat. I gotta feed my dog. Oh my god, my poor pup. She wants to know where her food's at. It's way past her dinner time. Ridiculous design. I don't hate it though. Now having black areas over here and under here kind of gives them like a Amish beard kind of a thing going on. Am I thinking of the Amish? It might be. It's just, you guys must have seen it somewhere. I don't know what culture usually does it, but it's like some people will just grow out like, it was a very old-timey haircut too, but people do still do it. They'll just grow out the beard like from here down. You know, like where we would usually consider would be the part you would shave, the neck beard area. They'll just grow that, and that's where the beard grows from, and all this is clean shaven. It kind of, having that black shave down there kind of gives him that silhouette, that facial like graphic breakup. Do you care about local value when you're mapping shadows in traditional? Yeah, if it's important for the drawing, yeah. I tend to ignore local value for me, personally, for my style, but that's a stylistic choice. You know, it's not going to be the right call for everybody. I tend to render everything like it's a marble statue first, and then after I've sort of got the form going, then I will add local value variations, but a lot of people that would not jive with them. They would find that really crazy and sort of distracting, so I wouldn't recommend it for everybody. It's definitely much more typical to indicate the local values and then do the form. fuzzy forms. I should go to bed since it's like 12 a.m., but I'm having so much fun with this drawing. Oh, it's so hard to give up once you're having fun. It's very hard to put it down.
What the fuck is that? Is that poop on the ground? It is poop on the ground. It's nice.
I know what you're saying.
It's like very high poly poop.
How do I know if I'm more of a fine artist or a commercial artist? What's the main difference? This isn't the only difference or even necessary if you sort of find your way into certain niches, but the basic difference is if you're going to be a commercial artist, you've got to be very comfortable being told what to do. And a lot of people like being told what to do. They don't like having no guidance on what to draw and things like that. If that's the case with you, you might do well as a commercial artist. But fine artists don't have that. They need to be comfortable sort of manifesting the whole thing from the ground up, all on their own. Like believing in themselves, deciding what they're going to draw, finding a reason why that thing should need to exist. Why would anybody care about this? Marketing it, presenting it to people. That's the main distinction. On the experiential side for the artist. There's obviously a lot of other distinctions if you fold in the industry aspects of each one. But for the artist, I think that's the base consideration. And like I said, there's plenty of commercial artists who don't get told what to do, and you can get that too if you angle your stuff right. And there's also plenty of fine artists who sort of have based the nature of their fine art off of sort of reacting to their audience and the wants of their audience and things like that.
You're back.
Squimbly says, yo, my guy, what do you think of AI now? I'm really interested to hear what you think 7 months onward, especially after your live stream about the lawsuit. I think it's horse shit. Yeah, I don't know. I've learned a lot, seen a lot, had many interesting conversations and experiences, and yeah, I don't... the past 7 months have increased my certainty that we need to try to do something about this. And that's all. Sorry I'm late, never get the damn bell. Tom, what are you doing? Tom, I'm done forgiving you, Tom. It's a bit too much this time. It's a bit too much. You gotta get here on time, man. I don't know what to say to you anymore. I'm literally about to end the stream. Am I just supposed to keep going for 7 more hours? For you? I don't know what to say to you anymore, man. You're either gonna start Tom. You're either gonna start taking this seriously or you're not. And at a certain point, it's not up to me, right? It's not up to me, or what I can do, or what I can say. If you really care about this, Tom Sabatello, you've got to get here on time. It's that simple. Everybody else is here on time. Everybody else is in the stream, they're chatting, they're liking the stream, they're subscribing, they're hitting the bell, and then also hitting the drop down to hit all notifications. They're talking in chat at an appropriate rate such that it's going to push the stream to people on YouTube recommendations. They're posting about me on the internet, they're sharing me on their stories, they're talking about me on threads, they're sharing about me on Facebook. Everybody's here on time, asses in the seats, sketchbooks out, drawings going, and you're just wandering in now. You're just walking in now. They're done. They're done with their drawing, and I'm done too. I'm done drawing now. It looks great. It's finished. What am I supposed to do? Start over for you, Tom? That's it. I wish we could have ended on a more positive note, but stream's over. All right, it's time for me to go make dinner. I don't know what to say. I really wish we could have ended on a more positive note, but that's just, thanks, Tom. Thanks. Goodbye. Happy drawing, everybody. I'll see you next time. Jesus.
Okay, I'm back. Let's go listen to James Cameron on drawing AI art and storyboarding. What's this?
I had a harder time writing than drawing. Writing was a second, more of a learned art form. Drawing came naturally. So I would draw stories, and then I'd start to supply the text, and then it gets complicated. Oh, now I have to name the characters. Now I have to describe what's happening. So the drawings came first, and even to this day, I like to get some art done first before I start writing, so I know what the characters look like. You know, it's like I'm forming the ideas visually first, and then I'll apply a kind of narrative discipline to it afterwards. That's part of my writing process. I even brought that into the writing room on the Avatar sequels. I had a number of other writers working with me to help break the story from end to end across all the sequels. And I would go up to the art department and I'd bring down, you know, some of their big prints, and I'd just start sticking them up around the writing office to inspire the other writers. I don't think they relied on it as much as I did, but they all said that it was very helpful for them. So you can see that the storyboards on the Terminator are very, very finite and very precise. And you can see that the shots that were derived from those storyboards are very, very similar. So I was thinking more in a sequence of almost fixed images. You know, now the camera might be moving, but the relationship between the camera and the car probably didn't change very much as it moved through space, right? And obviously all the stuff with the surgery and everything, it was all worked out ahead of time. So to me, I was using storyboarding to imagine my angles, my frame, to imagine how we'd physically accomplish some of the effects, right? I also had time to prepare that movie in a way that I've never prepared any other movie after that. And you can see the storyboards for Aliens are very rough. They might be something that I would do at breakfast or the night before, you know, quick sketch of how I was going to compose the sequence inside Narcissus when they find her. And you can see the gloved hand wiping away the ice crystals. And you can see the frame when the laser cutter comes into the room and all that. But you have to really use your imagination, you know. So there are storyboards I did on Terminator for other people where I wanted clarity, took longer. And then the storyboards I do for myself, which are very thumbnail, right? But they mean something to me. And then now I don't do storyboards at all.
Really?
At all. What we do is concept art, and we go from concept art to 3D models of the environments. I have my acting troupe, which is not my principal cast, it's my troupe of versatile players who can play any one of the characters, because we can dress them in any body and any face we want. And then we just start working the scene. So now I start to use the virtual camera. I say, okay, I want that shot, I want that shot, I want a close-up, I want this, I want that. We kind of skip the storyboarding and we go straight to a form of previs. And it's a previs that I do. It's not a keyframe previs. Most people do keyframe previs, but I don't like that because that's somebody else making up a shot for me versus me organically working in the scene. I can tell the actors where to go, what to do. I can be low, I can be high, I can be wide. And so we just get a bunch of images. And then I select from those images and I start to put the scene together in my mind. And then that's it. We don't draw it up. We don't formalize it. The next step is to get the actors and actually start to do the scene. So storyboarding has kind of fallen by the wayside. I mean, every once in a while I might do little thumbnails for myself, especially during live action. So the morning of a scene, of the shooting of a scene, I may quickly sketch up what I want and number the setups or something like that. But it's really more of a just a quiet meditation on the kind of coverage that I want. You've got this, I call it a storytelling engine that's in your brain. So part of your brain is putting on a show for another part of your brain. So there's a part of your mind that's essentially the receiver, the ego locus, if you will, that's watching. But other parts of you are putting on a show, right? Assembling little narrative bits together and firing off each other, and then images emerge. It's very much like generative AI in the sense that generative AI scrapes from massive data sets. So we scrape in our dreams from massive data sets. Everything we've ever seen, everything we've ever experienced, everything we've ever read, it's all going into this massive data set. And then the dream process is a prompt. And sometimes one bead on that string will be the prompt for the next bead and the next bead. And you never know where it's going because it's just a series of prompts. And then something coalesces, very much like these diffusion models, into an image, a little bit of a story. Characters suddenly appear in a landscape, in a place. And there's no real logic to it because you don't know what's going to happen next. It's just a long series of prompts, but it has some kind of internal logic to it in the moment, right? We all feel present in a dream. I'm there, I'm experiencing something. It's in POV. You're not seeing yourself from the outside. Usually, I think most people don't, right? So it's a POV experience. That means it's being scraped from everything you've ever experienced. I think dreams and Gen AI and drawing are all part of the same aspect of consciousness. So something occurs to you in a dream, you draw it. Now that drawing becomes a prompt for the next drawing and the next drawing and the next drawing. It's the same thing when you're writing a script. You don't always know what the character is going to do next. I think at first it's very analytical and you're using structural ideas and that. There's a certain point where the characters just start to have life. They become organisms in your mind. I'm fascinated by all this, and I actually think that the study of AI is going to draw out from us a better understanding of our own consciousness and our own creative process. What do you say? Tourner?
Ça tourne. Action.
Action, I can do action. Action.
Paris' Cinémathèque Française is showcasing iconic film.
Didn't seem to be a whole lot about anything.
Welcome to another Figure Week, Hard Surface Week, organic
kind of want that mace. What is this? Madman's Crate. Holy cow, look at that 2.25. What the fuck? Ooh, high grade. 42.
Hey everyone,
61,
my name is Ahmed Al-Douri. I'm a
82.
concept artist and former instructor at Art
Minus
Center
2,
College of Design,
40,
Brainstorm, CCS, CGMA,
61.
and various other places. And I would like to introduce to you
It's
the digital
actually
painting course that I
basically
created. But
equal.
before we get into anything, I just want to thank you for the support you've all given me this
I
whole
might
time.
actually use
And with the
this.
support of so many of you, I've been able to put together everything I know about painting into this digital painting course. You want to become a pro.
This would be very
illustrator,
interesting if it was
concept
like
artist,
higher
or
grade.
even just a hobbyist, but you don't have a clear map to get there. And that's where I come in. I spent the last 6 months compiling everything I know from my 20 years of art practice, and I've turned it all into a map. Starting with foundations
paint
such
it black.
as rendering shapes, color theory, painting basic subjects, understanding brushwork, brush economy, all that fun stuff. Deconstructing the skull, drawing it from every angle, all the way to master studies, stylized painting, and you'll find yourself at the end of the course doing a concept art project based on everything that we learn in the first 14 lessons. So how does it work? Well, you sign up, you watch the lectures, do the assignments, post them to the community page if you want, and treat it as a self-study, except for those of you who have signed up for the weekly meeting, where I personally critique your work in a virtual classroom setting. I believe learning by repetition is super important. That's what I've sort of presented a lot in this course, and the assignments are tailored for that, as adapted from my time teaching at Art Center. And each of these lessons have step-by-step explanations in real time. If you've ever seen my videos, you know exactly
What
what I
weapon
teach.
is that?
This course is
Black.
intended to be a substitute for a college level course, but you don't have to pay the $4,000 or
Let's see if it's any
$5,000 per
better
class,
than-
racking up maybe 200K in
It's just the
debt. With
lighting.
my custom design course, you'd be paying a fraction of that. And of course, I also have payment plan options if you don't want to pay for the whole thing.
Let's
at
see, what?
once.
How good
Thank
is
you
it?
for watching
Oddity.
this, and I'll see you soon.
2.11. Yep. It's better than this. A lot of cannibals around here.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Digital Artcast. Thank you for joining me once again. I hope, as always, wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and being creative. And I hope these podcasts, these episodes, are going some way towards helping with that calmness, with that creativeness, and inspiration also. Like most episodes, I always try to source the best people I can for these talks. And you know, I've had feedback in the Discord recently. If you guys aren't part of that, make sure you check down below in the description. You can join our community of over 200 artists at the moment, where we do feedback sessions and we're starting to do challenges. But yeah, there is also a part where you can suggest guests. And one of the most requested so far in the last 6 months has been the person I have on just now. So yes, I am listening to you guys, definitely, and want to get the best for you. So yeah, today we're talking to an illustrator, concept designer, and all-round just fucking awesome person, Mr. Steven Zapata. Hey Steven, how are you doing?
Hey Gordon, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. So yeah, you've been kind of blown up in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years. I know obviously you've had a career in concept design and illustration for a long time, but I think social-wise, you know, you've definitely been active and streaming, you know, putting out content, collaborating with other people. I think the first time I properly not knew of you, but really saw you socially was when you had done a podcast with Modern James Douglas, in New York, and you're obviously in NY yourself, and yeah, that was the first time I really got to sit down and listen to you kind of chatter away. It was you, Ahmed, and James, and yeah, you were having a girl rant, but yeah. So I mean, what kind of spurred the last couple of years and really getting in the public eye? I mean, first of all, for people who don't know you, do you want to do just a quick intro of who you are, what you do?
Sure, yeah. So yeah, I've been in concept design, entertainment design in general. I'm a native New Yorker. I grew up here. I went to Los Angeles to go to Art Center College of Design after high school. So I started over there when I was 19, so that's back in 2009. And did my 4 years over there. Stayed in LA for a total of, I think it's 9 years, I want to say. I stayed in LA. Doing a bunch of stuff out there, especially a longer stint in studio, a little bit more than 3 years, working in theme parks out there in LA. Moved back to New York and started doing freelance when I was in New York, including all sorts of stuff, advertising, print, tabletop games, during that time I did a long stint on Elder Scrolls Online for over a year doing concept with them.
Nice.
So yeah, that's sort of been the trajectory or that's like the really bottled version of me.
Condensed, yeah.
But the social stuff really started coming up. I'd say I really started getting interested in that right after Elder Scrolls, right after I got off Elder Scrolls. So that would have been 2019-ish, if I remember correct. And that came from, at that point, I had sort of tried a lot of the stuff that I had been interested in when I went into the industry. So, you know, I'd hit a lot of milestones. I'd found a way to make my living off of art. I'd done both freelance and studio life, and I had tried a bunch of niches, right? So I had done short and long stints on all sorts of stuff. And I had done a little bit of video game work very early on, like my first jobs ever. Like my first freelance thing was some freelance for a Russian MMO called All Odds, which I'm not sure. I think that's how you pronounce it, All Odds RPG.
Okay.
Like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's still running or if they're still around. But
Right.
I had done some. So for them, I had done some game work early on, but. Then I did like everything else, and then Elder Scrolls was like my return to games, which was really, when I went into the industry, that's really what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to be a games artist. But so after I got off, I was like, man, I've tried a bit of everything, and when I like looked at myself honestly, I was like, I'm a bit dissatisfied for complicated reasons, right? You know, as it goes with art, there's a lot going on with us. Yep. And I found that I wanted more human connection, but also artistic connection, and a space to talk about the stuff that we often feel like isn't on the table in the entertainment design world and the design world in general.
Okay.
So I launched a YouTube channel at that point, not to show tutorials or things like that, but to basically just have like the kinds of conversations I would have with my friends behind closed doors, and talk about all of the complicated stuff that comes up in art, like feeling confused, feeling dissatisfied, feeling jealous, envious, not understanding yourself, being angry at yourself,
No space.
not being able to spend as much time as you want on the thing that you love the most, things like that. And that was a reaction to everything that I'd gone through, and I'm sort of still living the expansion out from that, but that's where that all came from.
Yeah, it's for me, I think, again, like we were talking about this before we started recording, about 6 years podcasting now, it feels like I've had this where most artists I know are almost low-level philosophers, right? They have this understanding of life and things in it that most people don't. I remember watching an episode of Sabrina when they relaunched it, the Netflix series. And there's a part where they're at a funeral, and they're talking about the people. I think it's Zelda. She says one of the things where she's like, "Do people ever really understand the complexity and shortness of life?" And then the guy standing next to him says, "Maybe the artist." And it's one thing that stuck to me for a long time, is that I think art sees life in different terms, and I think when you become an artist and then you clash into that industry part of it, that's the thing you're always fighting with, right? Is the doing it for money, the business end of it. being a sellout, you know. And I think a lot of guys now have, we both know Ahmed very well, and you know, I think he definitely has become disillusioned with the whole industry, like yourself, and the fact that he's sold his soul for so many years doing stuff, and has spent so many years now trying to re-find himself. Is that kind of something you've done when you moved back to New York?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, when I first moved back to New York,
Probably go back and heal. So we have some decent damage. Plus this mongrel, I guess. Whoa, what's that? More shrieking bandits. What's that? The bone cat, but why is it so dark? I want to see if this is a high grade, dark colored. Let's see. Nope, standard. Wasn't expecting that. Any fog princes in here? Is that one? No. Here's one. Grab his head. Free money. The thumbnails are extra spicy. I don't make them. YouTube does. I only make the thumbnails for my videos. Not for my live streams. It'd be too much work. Yeah, occasionally the algorithm knows what the people want. Am I still fighting? I wanted to go to... Oh, okay. I'm helping the guards. I was going to repair... Whoa, my god, there's a lot of fogmen here. Actually, I should probably help out. Help out a bit more. And then I'll go repair. Fog Death Yard has been wiped out. Let's go repair. I have a house here. Get all the blood and guts out of my joints. I want to paint this new helmet that I found. It looks pretty cool. It's like a little cat helmet. Psycho cat helmet. there a Shinobu Tower here? There is, okay. I need to sell some stuff first. Oh, not that guy. Let's go sell it some more. Sell it to someplace where we'll get money. Is there a bar? Should be a bar in here. There we go. There's the bar. Not sure why they didn't put the sign here. Make more sense. Who's gonna see the sign from this angle? That's not great level design. I need some building material. Wait, I think I have a chest in here actually. Let's see. I do not have a chest. Is this open? It's still open. Is it run by a skeleton? Should be enough. I don't need this. Don't need this either. We can put this crab helmet here, just in case I want the crab helmet again. Alright. Let's dye some armor. Oh. Did I dye it? I think it did. It's definitely darker than before. Uh-oh. Has been caught committing theft. Let's load it. It didn't dye very well. Maybe it didn't die at all. Maybe I need to sell this because it already has like a color. Let's go try doing that. We'll sell it and then buy it back. And then we'll die. Okay. Well. Yeah, looks like I got away with that. Quick save it. It looks the same, kind of. Doesn't look any darker. But I guess it's alright. Interesting. I wish this... Oh, I need to dye this shirt. Let's go do that. Whoops. Not what I wanted to do. Because this is white colored, I want it to be black instead. So you did that white or black? No, it didn't. That's annoying. Well, I guess we'll just keep training. Back to the Shrieking Forest. Or we can just hang out here and just slaughter Fishman. You grab this guy's helmet or his head. backface messes on, that's why. Okay. Oh, no wait. The drawing style is completely off. Hold on. This has to be dots or freehand, either one. Okay, now! Now it should work. There we go. I need stronger stomach armor or something. Keep getting knocked down because of my stomach. Does this guy have any, like... I have to check the quality on these two maces here. One of them might be good. Oh, there's my chance. Unorthodox. Gotta knock this guy out so I can check his mace. Okay, he's out. Unorthodox. Same thing. Hey guys, I gotta go to sleep. Since it's Wednesday, well, actually Thursday now. I have to go compile a post about the progress I've done. Take care. See you guys later.